Well, hello there and welcome to my first video. If this gets posted, if you're watching this, that means I recorded it, edited it, and also posted it, which is kind of crazy for me. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and with all the TikTok stuff, I thought I would try it out. I'm literally filming on the front camera of my phone though, so I apologize for any bad, like if I'm not looking at the camera as I go on with this. Maybe we'll try the back camera. I don't know, we'll see. But I didn't know what to film for my first video. I know it's the middle of February, but I wanted to film my 25 in 2025, which I always do a little spread in my journal. I also do the Pop Sugar reading challenge typically every year, but here is a quick little glimpse. Don't want to give you a spoiler of just my personal goal for the year. I've never met this goal of finishing my yearly TBR, but maybe since I'm recording this, it will hold me accountable and I can come back at the end of the year, watch this video, and hopefully have read a good chunk of these books. So let's get started. I have 5 books that release in this year and then 20 books that I already own or just have already been on my radar. I might talk a lot about them. I might not really talk much about them. I go into books blind. I don't typically read the back, but for a lot of these, I do know kind of what they're about. But yeah, let's get into it. Okay, first on the list, I have all of my books over here to hold up, and there's a lot of them, is obviously the one and the only Onyx Storm. I already reread Fourth Wing and Iron Flame this year, and I was so ready to jump right into this. I only have gotten this far and I put it on hold because it's not that it's bad. I'm just watching Game of Thrones right now for the first time, so getting this much information twice is just too much for me. So I needed to set this down before I started to slump, and I will come back to it, hopefully shortly. But that is the first book on my list. I obviously I'm gonna try and, if I know how to do it, I'll put it right here. Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I honestly do not know what this one is about. She is my favorite author, and I go into all of her books blind. So I'm sure if you want to know what it's about, you already know, because Emily Henry, I have that entire top shelf of my bookshelf dedicated to her. She is my favorite author. Next I have Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. She's also one of my favorite authors. This one is about an astronaut woman, and I'm so excited for that one as well. I feel like we've been waiting forever for a new TJR release, and I can't hardly wait. It comes out like the day before my birthday, which is super exciting. Next we have Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. Love her. I also have kind of a section dedicated to her behind the smiley face, but I actually met her last weekend. She did a book signing. I just love her so much, and I actually have already read this book and it is so good. I got an early copy of it to my Kindle, and I loved it so much. I can't wait for it to get out in the world. It's about a vet and this other girl who has problems going on in her family, and it's just so wholesome. I just love this book so much, and I can't wait for everyone to read it. Lastly, for my 2025 releases, I have Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. Also love her. These are like all my favorite authors, boom, 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 coming out in a row with new books, and I can't wait. I also don't really know what this one's about, but I assume it has some little hint of magical realism in there as well, like her other books do. Next, we are getting into some books that I already own that I just need to get off my shelf. I need to read them. I need to get them off my shelf. I am a library, Kindle, Libby audiobook addict, and I just absolutely push aside the books that I already own, and it's a big goal of mine in 2025 to get through some of these books. So let's get started in those. I'm scared is going to run long, so I'm going to try and talk pretty quickly through them. The first book on my list was a recent release. It's The Wedding People by Alison Espach. I hope that's how you say her name. This book I know is going to be heavy. I did read like the first chapter of this when I first got it. She is like going to this hotel, I think, or like resort, the Cornwall Inn, and she has no bags and I'm not going to tell you why she went. You got to find that out yourself. I already know from reading the first chapter, but she gets there and everyone else in the entire inn is there for a wedding, and she's the odd one out, going there for some self-discovery, some reflection, and I'm excited to see how she intermingles with these wedding guests along the way. Next up is Shark Heart by Emily Habak. And I'm actually borrowing this from my coworker, and I've been borrowing it from her for way too long. So I really need to read this and get this back to her. This book I think will be a pretty quick read. Some of the chapters are very short, and it's just little passages on this man who actually starts to turn into a great white shark. But I've heard that it is a tearjerker. I've heard that it is emotional, very funny, so I can't wait to give this a try. I think, yeah, this was a Book of the Year finalist in 2023 for Book of the Month, and I've just heard nothing but amazing things about this book and how unique it is. Next, we have The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. Everyone knows her, everyone loves her. I read The Nightingale last year for the first time by her, and I absolutely fell in love with her writing. This one takes place in 1974 Alaska, and that's really all that I know about this one. Her books are pretty chunky though, so hopefully I can get this one knocked off my shelf this year as well. Next is A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. Look at these gorgeous sprayed edges. I got this year at the Barnes & Noble book hardcover sale. And I've been eyeing this one for a while because I know that our main character is an architecture student, and I actually am an architect, so I really was drawn to this just for that one specific reason. But I'm pretty sure this is like part historical fiction, part fantasy, part rivals to lovers, and I'm just very excited to dive into this. I really don't know too much about it, but I just think that I will absolutely eat it up. Next is Rewitched by none other than Lucy Jane Wood. I have been following her on YouTube for years, and I just love her so much. I meant to read this when it first came out last year, but I was in a pretty big reading slump, so hopefully in October of this year, I can get to this book. And fun fact, I myself also have a little tortie, so just absolutely love that little detail on the cover. Next up is The Martian by Andy Weir. I listened to, actually, Project Hail Mary this year, and I loved it. I've seen the movie of The Martian, which is so unlike me to watch the movie before reading it, but I think this is will be such a good transition into reading sci-fi. I've only read a couple sci-fi novels in my time, and I've really enjoyed all of them, but this one is just so coveted in the sci-fi and non-sci-fi world that I think I will just love it. And I love the story of The Martian. If you haven't seen the movie, he goes to Mars and he has to learn how to live a sustainable life in Mars. And I think I'll really love this one. Next might come to a surprise to some of you, but I collect all of the American Girl book box sets. You're actually sitting on 3 of them right now. And this year, my goal is to read Kaya. I've read Samantha and Addie in the past couple of years, and this year I chose Kaya. I just felt like this would be a good one to read for 2025. I'll read all 6 books, hopefully throughout the year. I have never read her books. I don't know her story. I am just so excited to read these and get them in my little collection of American Girl books. Next is a little ambitious, but I really want to start the Throne of Glass series. And I only put this one on my list because I don't want to make myself read the whole thing if I don't want to. I just would like to start it and see where it goes from there. So, and I'm going into this series blind. I really know nothing about it besides it's by SJM and it's the ones that she wrote when she was young. But I am hoping that I can start that series and just see where that takes me. Like I said, I'm really invested in fantasy right now with a show, so we'll see if I can get to that this year. The next is Circe by Madeline Miller. I have not read any of Madeline Miller's works. I have not even read The Song of Achilles by her. So I don't know why. This one has always just called out to me a little bit more, and I kind of want to read this one first. And it's just a retelling of Circe's story, And I don't know if there's anything deeper because, like I said, I really go into books blind. I'm sorry if this isn't a help for any of you, but I am very excited to pick up this one this year as well. I have it on my Kindle, but it is Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. This book I feel like I've heard about for years. I have had it on my radar for years. I just have not picked it up. And I'm just stoked to read this one and see what all it has in store for me. Next, I have Severance by Ling Ma. I'm pretty sure this book takes place during a pandemic. I've had this on my shelf for years, and like I just did not want to pick it up due to COVID and due to kind of relaying that experience. But I'm pretty sure it's like either the apocalypse or a pandemic or both, and it's about workplace culture during said apocalypse. And I think this might be the year that I'm finally ready to pick this one up. So we will see. Is it the end of the world or just another day at the office? And I think that sentence could be relatable to a lot of us that work corporate jobs. So next, I have How to End a Love Story by Yuling Huang. I was sent this book from Avon last year, and I have had it for so long on my shelf. I literally had the ARC. They also sent me the finished copy, so I put my ARC out in my little free library, and I still have not read this one. This book is written by the director of Emily Henry's new movies, I think. And let's see, screenwriter of People We Meet on Vacation and the director of Beach Read, which is so exciting. I cannot wait for those movies to come out. Beach Read is actually based in my hometown, and I saw Yulin post a picture in my hometown, which was so exciting. But yeah, this is just a typical rom-com, I think. I don't know if there's anything deeper, but I just want to pick it up because of the author and because of the People We Meet on Vacation movie coming out this year. I need some romances to kind of break up these like heavier book topics. Next, I have Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake, and you can tell how long this has been on my shelf because I still have the self-published version, and it has been published for 3 years, I think. Kind of bad on me, but I love Olivia Blake. I read One for My Enemy last year, and I really loved it. And this one is a love story by her, by two very gifted individuals, I think, in university, and I can't wait to read this. I think I've said that for every book. Obviously, I can't wait to read it. That's why it's on my list, okay? No judgment here. Next is Be Ready When the Luck Happens by Ina Garten. I'm actually listening to this on audiobook right now through Audible, and it is so good. I love hearing her backstory. She is one of my favorite people to listen to her talk, so I just love hearing her tell her own story, and I'm almost ready to finish that one, and then I can have another one checked off the list. Next, I have Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. I feel like lately I have been seeing so much about this book as well. I believe this one is an accidental pregnancy type of book with first date or one night stand, I think. Don't come at me if I'm wrong. Like I said, I don't really read up too much on these things, which I should. But I'm typically not an accidental pregnancy type of trope person. But this book, I've heard just amazing things about Cara Bastone, so I can't wait to read this one. And I love the colors on the cover. Next is none other than Call Me By Your Name. I love this movie so much with Timothée Chalamet. And I've heard that the book is better. I've also had this on my shelf forever. Gotta love a little summer fling love story, and can't wait to read this in the book form. Next is All's Well by Mona Awad. I've also had this for years on my shelf, and I love Bunny so much. Bunny's one of my favorite books ever, and I just need to pick this one up. This one takes place in university. I think it's Dark Academia, with a theater teacher teaching Macbeth. Hence the title, All's Well. Then I have My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. This I added to my TBR this year when the New York Times released their top 100 books of this century, and I believe that this was number 1. And ever since then, I added it. I have not read anything by Elena Ferrante, and I think all her books take place in Italy, so I can't wait for that backdrop. Do not know what this book is about. I'm so sorry. It takes place in the 1950s. Let's read the thing and then I can kind of give you a summary. Okay, so it sounds like they live in a poor but vibrant and growing neighborhood, and these girls become friends, and it just kind of talks about female friendship and what they do to provide for each other and make good life for each other. So, love a book about female friendships. So I think I will enjoy this one. We have Educated by Tara Westover. I had to include another nonfiction on my list. I feel like everyone and their mother, including my mother, has read this book, but I have not. So I'm going to read this. I believe she's from Idaho in the mountains, and her parents did not believe in sending her to school, so she kind of had to grow up to figure things out for herself. And then last but not least, thank you for watching this till the end if you have made it. We have The Great Undoing. Daisy hates The Great Undoing by Jessa Hastings. I've read the first 3. It's taken me like 2 years to read the first 3, and now I'm on the 4th, and I also have the 5th. So we can see if we can get that done. But I can't really explain what this is about because it's like in the middle of a series. And also, frankly, I do not know what it's about either. These books are crazy. And if you know, you know. Thank you for sticking till the end if you did. I can't wait to read all of these 25 books plus more if they're series and such. But hopefully, if you're watching this, like I said, I have edited it and put it up, which is crazy for me to do such a long form type of content. But anyway, if you've read any of these books, let me know what your thoughts are. And thank you so much for watching. You can follow me on all my other socials. I'll put them down there. Claire's Bookshelves on pretty much everything. But yeah, that's about it from me. Hope you have a good rest of your day.